Are you looking to become a better real estate investor? Then hang on, because you're about to experience another episode of the world's most popular real estate podcast, the BiggerPockets Podcast. But before we get to this week's show, I wanted to invite you to become part of our community, BiggerPockets.com, the real estate investing social network. The membership is free, and you'll instantly gain access to networking opportunities, educational content, investor tools, and more. Sign up now and get a free copy of our book, The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Real Estate Investing, read by hundreds of thousands of budding entrepreneurs. Just click this link right here or just head to BiggerPockets.com. With that, let's get to the show.
This is the BiggerPockets Podcast, show 129.
You're listening to BiggerPockets Radio, simplifying real estate for investors large and small. If you're here looking to learn about real estate investing without all the hype, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and be sure to join the millions of others who have benefited from BiggerPockets.com, your home for real estate investing online.
What's going on, everybody? This is Josh Dorkin, host of the BiggerPockets Podcast, here with my co-host, Mr. Brandon Turner. What up, Brandon?
For once, now I get to be the one to say, good to have you back, Josh. Mr. Traveling all around the country, not being around. Yeah, good to have you back.
Yeah.
Area.
I was gone. I was gone for a week.
That was like a lifetime for me. I missed you, buddy.
It was like a lifetime for me, but I looked in the calendar and you're gone like, 2 out of the next 2 days a week for the next like 6 months.
I'm gone pretty much continually.
Yeah. But yeah, I was gone, man. Took the family to New York. And that was exciting. Got to see the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, FAO Schwartz, Central Park.
Nice.
Yeah, saw all sorts of cool stuff. Went to the beach, and then we went to this. There's a meetup put on by Darren Sager of New York folks, and that was awesome. There were like 200 people there, and
whoa.
Yeah, how many were there? And you went? Yeah,
like 130.
Yeah,
you win. People like you more than me. I always get that. Like
that's not what I hear.
No, I get that all the time. You're cool, but Josh, he's the man.
That's not what I hear. Is I walk in the room and I forget her name. She's gonna kill me. I walk in the room, and this woman, the first person to walk up to me is like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my." So is Brandon here? I'm like, "Oh." She's like, "No, nothing about you, but I have this serious lady crush on Brandon."
Oh, good, good.
And
I'm a good-looking guy, that's what they all.
Oh, I don't understand. I can't enter a room with them without them wanting you. It's never.
No, they want us.
Me.
It's not enough, because whenever I'm there, they're like, "Where's Josh?" But,
yeah.
They leave out the lady crush part. But I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm not judging.
Yeah. Anyway, it was awesome. And Darren does a great job getting people together, and it's so cool just seeing all these folks, come together, working together. I had a great time. The New York trip was awesome, and I do want to just use that as a transition to today's quick tip. All right, guys, today's quick tip is make sure you have keyword alerts set up on BiggerPockets. BiggerPockets.com/alerts is where you will do this. You need to go and set up alerts for your local area, wherever you are at. Like if I'm in Denver, so I would set up a keyword alert for Denver. If I'm investing in Milwaukee, I might want to set up alerts for Milwaukee. You could set up things for other keywords as well, but this stuff is going to alert you for deals that people have in your area. It's going to alert you for opportunities in your area, and it's going to alert you to meetups in your area. And it's so important to get together with people locally. So,
and one more point on that.
Yeah.
This week, I don't know if it's going to be out by the time this show comes out, but it's very, very soon anyway. You can now set keyword alerts specifically just for marketplace stuff, which is pretty cool. So you can choose, I just want to know about Milwaukee if it's in the marketplace, nowhere else, which is very, very cool. I think people will find that very helpful.
Yep. For sure. All right, guys. So that's today's quick tip is make sure you've got those keyword alerts set up there. And you could also change frequency. If you don't want to get them as soon as somebody mentions it, you can set it to send them out to you on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. So definitely do that. So that is today's quick tip. As I mentioned before, this is show 129 of the BiggerPockets Podcast. And before we get into this, we started doing this. We like doing it. I think it kind of, I don't know, feels good.
Makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
We're going to share some reviews. Here's our first review from Pingless17. Love the podcast from Brandon and Josh. It's like talking real estate with two of my sarcastic friends who know their stuff. I've gotten in the habit of listening to one a day on my commute, and I'm really getting a lot out of it. These guys keep up the good work. And here's one from Melissa. Melissa A. Josh and Brendan. I don't know who Brendan. It's okay,
Close
Melissa.
enough. You know,
it's close enough.
It's my superhero name.
Yes. Josh and Brennan put on a fantastic show. They bring some incredibly knowledgeable and motivated individuals to the program that share the details of how they made their way through the real estate game that we all love. The guests have all been open and honest. Ideas and strategies are discussed, which open up avenues that I've never thought of. All around, it's a good time, and I would highly recommend the podcast to anyone in real estate. So thank you. If you have not yet left us a review, please do so. You know, we're reading these things. Obviously, get your 5 minutes of fame, so to speak, to the other 6 people listening to the show. No, we're at 55,000 listeners. You get a lot of exposure. So leave us a review. They help us. They help. The more reviews we have, the more exposure we get on iTunes. So go to iTunes, please, and leave us a rating and a review. And we definitely appreciate it. With that, why don't we get to today's show? Brandon, today we've got an awesome guest, don't we?
We do. Today's guest is a stalker of mine, which we'll explain in the show. And,
we will.
And yours. And Mindy Jensen.
Mindy Jensen.
Mindy Jensen. She is a very, very bright real estate investor and financial wizard all around. She's very, very smart. I actually go to her when I have questions about financial stuff. And that's why she's also teaching weekly on the Ask BP podcast. So you guys can find out more about her there as well, because she is very smart. So we're going to talk to her today.
Awesome. Yeah, Mindy's great. She's been in the game for a little bit now, doing lots of live-in flips and some other real estate, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a little personal finance, some travel hacking, if you're not sure what that is, and frugality, which is a good way to build wealth. So let's bring her in, Miss Mindy Jensen. Mindy, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. All right, Mindy, look at you on the BiggerPockets podcast. Awesome. Very exciting. It's good to have you.
It's so exciting to be here. Thanks for having me.
We're happy to have you. This is fun because we've never actually had a stalker on the show before. But do you want? But I don't know. Should we tell? You. But the first time I ever met Mindy, she came up to me, and I think your first words to me, we were at a conference, and your first words to me, I think, were something along the lines of, "You're Brandon Turner. I'm your stalker," or something along that. Do you remember that?
She had a knife when she met me.
Listen, you have to protect yourself.
You do have to protect yourself from Josh.
Yes, indeed. So Mindy's been a fan of BP for a while, and we've met Mindy a number of times over the years at a little personal finance conference that we've gone to called FinCon, and Mindy started writing for BiggerPockets, and lo and behold, one day we put out a job listing saying we are looking for somebody who can help us create content and do cool stuff. And Mindy's like, I want to do it. And so we hired her. So, you know, you're not on here necessarily because you work for us. You're on here because you've got a cool story and we just want to share it. So hopefully we can dig into that.
Yeah. Well, ask away. Fire lightning round. What is it? Fire away.
For our biggest fan, not knowing what it's called, just put a demerit on the record. But all right, Mindy, let's talk about you. I mean, you're somebody who's kind of big into personal finance, and you have been for a long time. And so, you know, before we start with how'd you get started in real estate. I think it might be interesting to kind of start with how'd you get into this personal finance space, and you know, why is it so interesting to you?
Well, the personal finance aspect of my life started at birth. My parents were both of my parents come from a really big family, and they went through, my grandparents were part of the Depression. They were very frugal because they had to be. My parents were very frugal because that's how they were brought up. And I'm very frugal because that's how I was brought up. And I met a man who was also very frugal, and we got married. We just have always lived below our means.
Are you guys Jewish?
We are not.
Oh, okay.
But don't hold that against us.
No, I mean, cheap. Yeah, I'm just,
Josh is Jewish. He can say that. I can't say that. So Josh is part of the tribe. I'm not.
You know what? I get that a lot, but it's not true what they say. All right, so you're frugal. Your husband's frugal. This frugality is deep. What does that mean, though? Like, people think frugal people are cheap bastards who don't want to spend 2 cents on anything, and that's not true, right? Frugality means something a little bit more, right?
You don't spend money on frivolous things. I don't have a brand new car, and I haven't in several years. I will probably never buy another brand new car.
Yeah.
There's this concept of early retirement where you don't have to work until you're 65. You can work until you're 25 or 30 or 40, and you just save aggressively and you spend less than you make, and you get enough money to live on. You don't ever have to work again. So we started exploring that concept, and we discovered that we do almost have enough money to retire and continue our frugal lifestyle. And part of what will help us do that is investing in real estate, having a passive income stream. Maybe, Brandon, you're familiar with rental properties?
I've heard of that.
Ever heard of the concept?
What?
You have money coming in that you're not really working for. I mean, yeah, it's still work being a landlord, but you're not out there 9 to 5 every day making a living. And then you can spend more time with your kids and you can, do all this. I happen to just get this really awesome job, so I'm not going to be retiring early, but my husband may choose to reduce his hours a little bit and, spend more time with the kids, pick up some of the slack that I'm going to be giving now that I am gainfully employed. Yeah. I was a stay-at-home mom for 8 years. Part of being frugal is you can plan ahead. If you plan ahead, you can have kids and stay at home because you don't have to worry about, childcare. You don't have to worry about making ends meet because you've already made ends meet. Yeah. We planned for me to be a stay-at-home mom, and I've been a stay-at-home mom for 8 years, and now I'm ready to jump back in, and I already did jump back in about a month ago. So I work for this awesome little startup called BiggerPockets. Maybe you've heard of them.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. So
yeah, they suck.
I want to dig in more on frugality here. No, but I think it's a topic that would be fun to explore a little bit more. So frugality, let's take I've got you on split screen, you and Brandon next to each other. So on the right side, I see Mindy. Mindy buys Folgers and makes her coffee at home out of the tin, spends $2.50 per week in coffee. Now, on the other side, Brandon shops at Starbucks. He goes there twice a day, buys a cup of coffee
3
for
times.
$6 per cup, and spends 6 times 5 is $30+ per week in coffee. Multiply Brandon's $50, you multiply it out over a year, and you've spent a lot less money on coffee than Brandon has. Is that the frugality? Is that what we're talking about here?
Careful,
there are
Mindy.
aspects to that. However, I actually don't buy Folgers.
Well,
do you go to Starbucks too?
I don't
you
go
grow
to Starbucks
your own coffee
very often. Yeah, I grow
well, that's
my own
really
coffee.
being frugal. She
No,
sews
I
her
am
own
not that
clothes.
Actually, I do.
Oh no! I was making fun of you, but it's true. Uh-oh. Take foot out of mouth.
My background is in fashion design, as most home flippers' backgrounds are. No, but back to the coffee. I actually have a friend who has a coffee company. It's called Epic Bean, and I buy coffee there. But I shop at the thrift store for my clothes, for home items that I don't really need to pay full price for. It doesn't matter that dish has been used by somebody else. You go to a restaurant, those dishes have been used by somebody else. It's not like, I don't buy underpants there. That's gross. But, that's really gross. But I don't mind buying a shirt there or a pair of pants or.
I bought a VCR a couple weeks ago at a thrift shop.
And my mom just gave
VCR.
me a Warren Buffett videotape.
Nice.
So
We should watch it together. Yeah, we'll watch it together.
Yeah, nice. Look at this Bigger Pockets podcast putting people together for very useless purposes, like watching 30-year-old technology.
So back to frugality. You save money where you can, so you can spend it where you want to or where you need to.
Ooh, that's a tweetable right there.
That is tweetable.
Mindy J with the tweetable.
I save money on clothes because even though I have a fashion design background, I really don't care what the latest styles are. Honestly, I'm a mom. I have 2 kids. The latest styles aren't that flattering to my body type. So
by the way, body type was in little finger parentheses there, everybody.
My mom.
I said that, not them.
So this is a side note, but my mom my entire life has had this habit of putting air quotes around things that don't belong. So she'll be like, Brandon, you need to go to your room to go and clean up. And like all growing up, there's air quotes all the time, and I never understood them.
Your mom is inappropriate air quote lady.
Yeah, she is.
She would be a Saturday Night Live character.
I know there should be one. Yeah. Anyway, so air quote mom. All right. So anyway, to go back to the frugality thing real quick. So first of all, I do spend a lot of money at Starbucks, but not that. I think my budget's like $200 a month total for me and my wife, which is a lot. However,
that is $2,400 a year.
However,
Starbucks coffee.
There are 2 types of people.
God.
There are 2 types of people on Earth. There are people who want to go and save $6 a day, and there's people who can go out and make $6 a day. Which type of person are you? I am hands down the guy that will go out and find a way to earn more money so I can enjoy the things I like in life, and I always will. Now, it doesn't mean, I lived in a 1-bedroom, 350 square foot house for when I got started because I needed to save money and be frugal to get the money to be able to invest. And so I house hacked this little tiny duplex, Kurt Cobain's, that one, people know the story. And we grow our own vegetables in our garden. So we pick and choose.
Frugal.
Yeah, everybody, picks and chooses. Like, I don't drive a new car. I bought an old Prius, but it's a cool Prius.
Nice.
It's my baby.
That's your house on wheels.
It is my house on wheels. I slept in that for 5 weeks. Well,
That's ridiculous.
a bunch.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. That is frugality. You are frugal.
See, I didn't want to pay.
So you didn't spend money on Starbucks so that you'll sleep in your car so you can spend money at Starbucks.
That's pretty much it.
Wow.
Because I don't mind sleeping in my car, but I like my Starbucks. So you spend money on what you like. And, I think the other side of frugality, too, is the idea of as you make more income in life. I wrote a post a long time ago called like the one thing you need to do to become a millionaire. And the whole premise was as you get more and more money in life, if you keep spending more and more money in life, you'll never become a millionaire. But as you make more and more money, if you invest more and more money, you will become a millionaire. It's like really as simple as that. So anyway, so I think everyone's a little bit frugal, or most people are a little bit. It's just deciding what they want to be frugal about.
Yep.
Is my theory.
Exactly. So. You choose what you want to save on so you can spend it where you want to.
Exactly, like you said.
So
way to bring that back, Mindy J.
Where do you spend it? I mean, obviously, you're a frugal person. We lay no judgment. We love you. You spend it on your kids, on traveling? What's and real estate, I'm assuming, is probably the primary.
Well, real estate is in limbo right now. We're in kind of a ridiculous market, and I'm having a hard time finding deals in my current market.
Sure.
I know nobody else is because real estate is just exploding everywhere. But no, where do I spend money? I spend money on the stock market. I just invest a lot right now. I'm trying to think. We do travel a lot, but we do travel hacking. We take credit cards and you sign up for a new credit card. You spend X amount of dollars in a certain amount of months, like $3,000 in 3 months, and then you get 20,000 bonus miles or 50,000 bonus miles. Or one time we did it with British Airways and we got 100,000 bonus miles. Ooh. And I had a card, my husband had a card, so we had 200,000 bonus miles, and we used that to travel quite a bit. When we lived in Madison, Wisconsin, we could fly out of Chicago. And Chicago is an American Airlines hub, which is a sister airline of British Airways. It kind of gets convoluted. You have to do a little bit of research. But we went to Hawaii for free.
Really? Just for signing up for that British Airways?
Just for signing up for the British Airways card, we went to Hawaii for free. 4 of us, free. I think it cost $95 for the annual fee for each card. So that's what, $190? All right. I got 4 round trips to Hawaii.
So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to cut you off right now.
Okay.
You are going to write an epic post on the BiggerPockets blog about travel hacking. I'm familiar with travel hacking because of this personal finance community, this FinCon community that we're a part of. But I don't think a lot of people on BiggerPockets are necessarily familiar with this. And, I've talked to my mom about it, and I'm like, Mom, you got to get this card, and this is the right card so you can get the miles and this. And she's like, it's too much work. I don't want to do it. But, so, I'm like, Mom, just do it.
That was a different mom accent than
that
you
was a
usually
different mom. Yeah, she,
you have another mom.
Aren't you
She have a
New
cold?
York Jew?
Yeah.
she moved to the South or something. I don't know what happened to her. Something weird.
By the
Something
way,
weird happened.
everybody just got to witness a moment of BiggerPockets corporate culture. Josh handing down an order to Mindy. Wasn't that great right there? Like, this is what you're going to do. Mindy J.
Mindy J. Check it out. Travel hacking. No, it's, you know what? It's such a cool topic.
It is.
And I think it would benefit our community and everyone within it for us to kind of talk about it a little bit. So, it's a polite suggestion from the man upstairs that we do that.
Now Josh is calling himself God. This is
Thank
amazing.
you, Josh.
Wow.
I spent enough time with you, Brandon.
Yep.
It just,
I guess. All right. Where were we?
I was
don't
not
even
calling
know.
myself God. Let the record show. I was just saying I work upstairs in the office or something.
Stairs to get up there.
Can we move to something else besides me?
No,
like
we're going
Mindy.
to talk about this for a really long time.
I want to talk about her real estate. I want to know
do.
about your real estate.
How did you go from this frugal person to buying real? I mean, it seems like the anti-frugal buying this property. Oh no! So tell us about it, please. See how I changed the subject? That was good, wasn't it?
That was
good.
very smooth.
Yeah.
Like silk. So I am frugal. I don't want to pay for things that I don't find value in. And I had I was living at home because that's what all 24-year-olds do. I was living at home in my parents' house. I just finished up college. I had my first real job. And a friend was going through a kind of sticky divorce. She had rented an apartment to sleep in at night, and then she would go home during the day and take care of her kids and whatever. That stopped working for her, and she was stuck with this apartment lease that she couldn't use. And I said, well, I'll take it over, not knowing that you're supposed to clear that with the landlord or anything. I was much younger.
Yeah. Sure.
So I took over her lease, and it was like $410 a month for a 1-bedroom in my town. And at the end of the lease, I just canceled it. I said, I don't want to live here anymore because, that seems kind of expensive to pay $410 whole a month to live in this apartment when I could buy a place that would be the same price. So I looked around. I found a condo for $49,000, a 2-bedroom condo in a suburb of Chicago. And I bought it. I moved in. My whole payment was $417 a month. So for $7 more a month, I'm now owning this property. And to give you an idea of how long ago this was, I got a smoking deal at 7% interest on my mortgage.
Wow. I wasn't going to ask, but since you opened the door.
It was 1998 that I bought this property. I sold it. I actually had my dad power of attorney sign the papers for me when I was on my honeymoon in 2002. I sold the property for $74,000. I made about $25,000 on the property just for holding it for 6 years. I had a place to live. The property went up in value, and it was just this really amazing experience because at the time I wasn't making very much money, and that was just about a year's salary.
Yeah.
In an instant, because you still need a place to live. And if I was renting and stopped, to move in, my husband had a house, so I was selling my condo. If I would have rented, I would have had nothing at the end of that except just a place to live. And I thought, I'm going to have to buy another one of those properties. Yep. So we lived in his place for a couple of years, and then we moved into the city of Chicago itself and rented out his house. And that was an experience. It was his grandmother's house, and we bought it from the estate for what it was worth. And then housing prices just shot through the roof in the early 2000s. And we sold it for like $100,000 more than we bought it for. Nice. And it was we did very little work to that. We might have put in $1,000. It had like a leaking pipe or something. There wasn't that much. And we took that money and rolled it into another property that we fixed up head to toe.
So, and I want to go there for sure and talk about those. No, it's okay. You keep talking. Just talk. We're not here. The guests, you can just, don't worry about the host. You mentioned that 7% in steel. And so there's a lot of people who are listening to the show right now and they're thinking 7%, are you out of your mind? Well, so 7% was a steal back then. And rates change. And so the environment that you're in, I just want to talk about it because I want to make sure people understand, there were times and I don't know if it was the 80s or 70s when rates were twice that.
15%,
rates were
early 80s. Yeah.
I think I remember Jeff Brown telling me about like 20% or so rates, something. I mean, that might've been in the 1900s, too bad Jeff isn't here to defend himself, but rates have been far higher than they are today. And we're in a really good environment as an investor to acquire properties with low rates. So just keep that in mind as you're buying things and realize we're in as good a time as we've ever had for buying property, at least as far as mortgage rates are concerned.
That's actually kind of funny you bring that up. My college was paid for because my dad bought savings bonds when I was little, and they matured right around the beginning of the 80s, and he put them in a CD that was locked in at some ridiculous like 14% rate
Wow.
or 11% rate or something like that. And for like 5 or 10 years, he just got this ridiculous amount of money. And that's how he paid for my college, my sister's college, my brother's college, was just this amazing interest rate.
That's
cool.
Nobody buys savings bonds anymore.
Nobody buys savings bonds anymore because they're worth almost nothing.
They're worthless. Yep. It's sad. Well, all right. So you bought this property, you sold it, you made some money, did it again. Then you start getting into these live-in flips.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. What is a live-in flip?
A live-in flip is when you take yourself and you live inside the home that you are flipping. So you're living through the construction, the drywall, the hammering, the no electricity, the new furnace installation, all of that. It is super awesome fun. It's actually
Smell
not
the sarcasm.
It can be a little trying, actually. We lived in one flip with no kids, and that was awesome because we worked on it, and when we didn't want to work on it, we didn't have to work on it, and you could take a little break, and you could work till midnight if you wanted to. And then once we started having kids, it was a bigger deal. I can't help you when the baby's crying. I have to attend to the baby, and so a lot of the work kind of got pushed off on my husband for a while. And now we're in a house where our kids are 8 and 5, so they can kind of take care of themselves while we're working on the house. But it's still, Mom, I need something. So a live-in flip is most successful, I think, when you don't have children or small children that really need your attention. For a while, my live-in flip, my current, we're fixing it up. We're not really flipping it, but we're living in the fixing up. And I had a washing machine in the kitchen. And my kitchen is like 10 by 12. I had a washing machine in my kitchen because all the rest of the house had no plumbing or there was no heat. So I couldn't hook it up in the other side of the house.
Well, the benefit of that is when you have dirty dishes, you just toss them in the washing machine with your clothes. Everything comes out good, right?
Yeah.
That's
Wait, what? Hold on. Wait,
just kidding. No, I don't do that.
The washing machine was in the kitchen. It's like right in the middle of the kitchen.
Okay, just making sure.
She doesn't wash her dishes in the washing machine. Come on, Josh.
I wouldn't put it past the frugal lady here. And so
save that water.
Socks and plates on the same load. I mean, come on.
But
nice.
Yeah, just live and flip is another way to be frugal because I don't have to rent a separate place. I don't have to pay a mortgage on a separate place. I'm living in the property that I'm fixing up, and I save big money on the capital gains taxes. At the end of 2 years, there was a recent law passed, not recent anymore. I guess it's 1997. That's a long time ago. 1998, whatever.
Time flies.
Yes. There was a law that was passed that I can't remember the name of it now. But people, you don't have to pay capital gains taxes if you live in a property for 2 of the last 5 years and own it for the 2 of the last 5 years. You can just write off $250,000 in capital gains if you're single and $500,000 if you're married. I never made $500,000 off a house, so I never reached those limits. But it's still nice to wrap up to not have to pay capital gains taxes on $100,000 or $150,000.
I've known some couples over the years who have, like, that's what they do for a living pretty much, is they'll go and buy a house to live in, and every 2 years they buy and sell it, and they make, let's say, $100,000 on each flip, and that is basically $50,000 a year of an income, and all they have to do is live in a property and flip it, and it's tax free, which $50,000 tax free is equivalent to what, $80,000 as a job. So they're basically making like $70,000, $80,000 a year just living in a house that they're flipping. And so, I mean, it's a strategy. It's not a terrible idea. And so pretty much like every house that I've bought in the past has been a live and flip for kind of that same reason. So anyway, very cool. I love that. I love the concept of a live and flip. So how many have you done now, Mindy? Do you mind me asking?
I have done 5 live and flips.
Ooh. And what's the average hold time?
The average hold time is 2 or 3 years. Okay. I don't sell them before 2 years because then I won't be able to get the capital gains deduction benefit. Okay. And sometimes it takes longer to sell. I have tried FSBO because that's always a successful,
which of course stands for
sale by owner. I am currently a licensed real estate agent in the state of Colorado. I have sold 0 houses, so I'm super successful. But I didn't get my license to sell houses. I got my license so that I could invest and have access to the MLS and get the commission when I sell and buy and yada, yada. Right, so before I was a licensed agent, I tried to sell it by myself twice. The first time I tried was in a not very FSBO-friendly real estate market, and it took about 18 months to sell the property. It was also a difficult to sell property. It had a pool. It was a split level in an area of the country where split levels are kind of shunned. So it was a difficult property to sell anyway, but then when you do it by yourself, it just seems to take longer. Yeah. The second property that I sold, FSBO, was in Madison, Wisconsin. The largest real estate company, or the largest real estate listing company in Madison, is called FSBOMadison.com. I should say, when I listed it, that was the largest. I don't know the current Madison market, but in 2012, and it took 18 months to sell that one as well. And it was a lakefront property. So, again, it's a difficult house to sell no matter if you're selling it by yourself or selling it with an agent. Both times we did FSBO, we offered an additional commission to the selling agent. And I don't know if that helped or not. Because they were difficult to sell houses. So
interesting. Well, so let's dig in a tiny bit on this for sale by owner because I think it's something we've actually never covered in 130 shows or so. People do for sale by owner, I think primarily because they say, hey, I can save this commission because when you sell, you pay the commission, right? I'm going to save all this commission by selling. Why would I want to spend that? But then you're stuck, in your case, 18 months. It may have, I'm guessing, probably would have turned the property over sooner. Personally, I have issue with all this. I think I should be able to go and list my house for sale by owner. Like in what year are we in? 2015? 2015 with sites like Zillow and Trulia. I mean, I can post a property up and get all the visibility I want for it. So the marketing, where does that extra marketing come in for sale by owner versus realtor? Personally, I think what realtors are doing is a lot of them will blacklist for sale by owners because they're saying, well, I'm not going to get my full commission. So why would I encourage that? And I think it's not taken as seriously by real estate agents, which, as a real estate agent, you could probably speak to. But, I think at some point in the coming 5, 10, 15 years, there's going to be some kind of equality that comes to independent sellers who want to just sell their property and not have to deal with an agent. What's your take on that?
Well, I get why people don't want to sell with an agent. I understand why they want to try and sell it themselves. But with, like you said, with Trulia and Zillow and Craigslist even, there's a lot more options to getting your house sold by yourself than, in years past when I was doing it. We had the newspaper.
What's that?
Yeah, I know, right? It's this paper where they print the news on it, and you can hold it.
I don't
in your
understand.
hand. I know it's a very foreign concept now. But that's
like yesterday's news, though, right?
Well, exactly. I still get newspapers today. It's kind of a habit. Warren Buffett buys newspapers. He said that he got his start as a newspaper carrier every year at the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting, which I attend. I am a Berkshire Hathaway B share owner. I'm not an A share owner. For those that don't know, the A share is $250,000 per share, and the B share is like $100 a share, $120. So I went with the frugal option, the small option. Anyway, at the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting, they have a newspaper throwing contest every year, and the prize is a dilly bar if you can beat Warren Buffett's throw onto the porch. They have this fake porch. Everybody should go to the Berkshire Hathaway meeting. It's a super fun time.
That's cool.
So anyway, he still loves newspapers and he buys them even though they're going out of business. But yes, back to this. I had to advertise my house in the newspaper. I had to hold my own open houses. What I would do is walk people around the house to make sure they saw everything, and then I would step outside so they could really look around. Honestly, I think that threw people off. They don't want the buyer there, or the seller. Yeah. The buyers don't want the sellers there when they're looking at a house. They want to look and they want to peek in the drawers. They want to talk to each other and say, hey, I really hate that color on the wall. And I don't think they feel as comfortable when somebody's there. When there was a real estate agent showing my property, of course, I would leave before they got there. But as far as the industry goes, I don't know. They've been around for a really long time. Real estate agents have, and they're not going to go down without a fight. We're not going to go down without a fight. And I can understand, why people would be really, as a homeowner who sold houses for sale by owner, why am I paying you 6%?
Oh yeah, no, it's a lot of money.
When it's $100,000 on the list price, that's $6,000. Okay.
My house is for sale right now, my personal residence, and it's a lot of money that I'm paying somebody. So it's crazy. But let me ask you this last question on FSBO is, do you see FSBO as an effective strategy? ?
Not currently. Okay. With the exception of Madison, Wisconsin, because of the FSBO Madison. And you would not believe how FSBO friendly Madison is, or was when I was there 3 years ago. And it was, it was really nice to be able to list my house and sell it for a 4% commission instead of a 6% commission. Yeah. And that was my most expensive house. That was the lakefront property. And, $24,000 is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Wow.
A lot of money.
I can't do math. It was more than that. But that's still, that's a lot of money. Maybe it was $30,000.
I wasn't following the math, but I was assuming you were right. So, hey, let's talk about live in flips again. Live in flips, beyond the disruption to your life and your family and the challenge. It's like house hacking. We talk about a lot. House hacking is perfect for young people in their 20s. It gets harder when you're married and have spouses. It just kind of becomes more of a challenge. But beyond the kind of obvious, are there other negatives to doing live in flips? And I guess I'll put it to Mindy and Brandon. You could chime in too.
Well, it's dirty. It's, you walk into a kitchen. My first live-in flip, we ripped out the whole kitchen. So you are washing dishes in the bathtub and you are making dinner in your bedroom. And that's, it's kind of a pain in the butt to wash your dishes in the bathtub because you have to bend over and your back hurts and, you're already dirty.
Can I ask an obvious question? If you're live-in flipping and you have one bathroom and you're working on the bathroom,
how do you use the bathroom?
Are we using the kitchen sink? Or should we not go there?
Two bathrooms.
Thank goodness.
I'm not.
So
I was
don't
working
ever
on the kitchen.
Don't ever do more than one bathroom at once while you're doing a live-in flip. Is that
No.
solid?
Yeah, absolutely. We have the house that we're currently living in. It was a 1-bedroom, 2-bath. I'm sorry. It was a 1-bath, 2-bedroom house. And we just finished the bathroom 2 weekends ago. And before we could finish that bathroom, we had to add the bathrooms, the other bathrooms. Now we have a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. So we had 2 bathrooms done before we started on the original
Just
bathroom.
making sure. I'm just making sure. So there's always a working, functional bathroom at any given time is the key here.
There has to be.
There has to
Yeah.
be. Unless you want
Just-
a
I'm just
porta-potty.
making sure.
I was going to say porta-potty and a hose. That works for me. But
Which would be horrible. Yeah.
Okay, that is not my ideal.
No, that's not my ideal.
Even I have limits.
So the live-in flips that I do, okay, here's the problem a lot of people do, right? Not even problem, just the downside of live and flip, right? Is you never get to fully enjoy the property you're living in because it's like, all right, we finally just finished this today. We're going to list it today, right? Like, It's like you never get the full. So what I try to do, and I did it on the house I'm in right now pretty well. I got it, and then I spent 3 months remodeling it. Like every day, my wife and I were over here fixing every single thing we could up. So that way, when we moved in, we'd at least be able to experience the house mostly done. And still, that was 2 years ago I moved in now, and now we're thinking about maybe we'll sell it soon. But I'm like, we never really got to enjoy, and that's what my wife keeps saying is, I don't really want to move until we at least can say we lived in a finished 100% house and not just finish the day we moved out, which is how it usually is. But anyway, so I don't know. People can keep that in mind. It is you can do that. You can fix it up first and then move into the house, live there for 2 years, and sell it and still get that IRS tax thing. Of course, I'm not a CPA, and neither is Mindy or Josh, but consult with your CPA and all that good stuff.
And that's a good idea, by the way.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's talk about real quick, what I just said there is I came in and my wife and I worked for like 3 months fixing our house up. Do you guys do your own work as well, Mindy, or do you hire things out?
We have hired people twice. And each time that we hired somebody, we had to fire them and hire somebody else because the first guys didn't work out.
Yep.
And we do a lot of work ourselves. We do most of the work ourselves. When we add a story onto the house, as we've done our last 2 flips, we pay somebody to actually build the structure and put the siding on, the windows and the roof. And then we come in and we finish it. We coordinate the drywall. I'm never doing drywall again by myself. We coordinate the drywall. We do the tile work ourselves. We do the plumbing. We do the electricity. We do everything once the structure is waterproof, weatherproof on the outside. I would never do insulation myself because it is actually cheaper to hire somebody to come in and do it than it is to buy it yourself.
Hey, Mindy, quick
yes,
question. And when you say we, you mean your husband, Carl,
My
right?
husband and I.
Well,
Yes.
no, but you're a female. Why would females do this work too? I've never heard of such a thing.
Yes, females do this work all the time,
Yes,
Mr.
they
Sexist
do.
Man.
Oh, I wasn't being
yes.
sexist. I was proving a point that this is something that
Sure.
more women, A, women are doing, and B, not enough attention is being paid to those women who are actually doing this, and C, to the women that are listening, this is something that you can definitely do, and I definitely want you to talk more about that because that's one of the coolest things about what you do is you're like playing with power tools and roughing stuff up, aren't you?
I am. I have my favorite power tools, Betty and JoJo. No, it's. I think a lot of people, women and men, are afraid to try. They don't want to mess something up, and you don't start by building a house from scratch. You start on small projects, and you gain confidence, and then you move on to something else. Anybody can paint a wall, and I'm sorry to all the professional painters out there, but it's really not that difficult a task. And you don't have to tape off the ceiling. You can learn how to cut in, which is painting up to the wall without painting the ceiling too. It's a concept or a procedure. It's not a concept. It's an actual thing. I'm looking up at my ceiling because we sprayed it to paint in here, and I haven't gone back and cut into the ceiling yet. I'm sorry. But yeah, anybody can paint a wall. I installed all the hardwood floors in my house. And
Nice.
If you can do this, it's a hammering motion. If you can do that, then you can install a hardwood floor. It's really not that difficult. And there's Sorry?
You're probably going to say what I was going to say.
Oh.
I was going to say there's a million videos on YouTube on how to do everything.
There's a million videos on YouTube. You are a mind reader.
I am. That's what they
Got
say
that
about
Jedi
me.
connection. Yeah.
That's why they call me the Jedi.
There's a million videos on YouTube to show you how to do anything, and you can do electricity. You start off small, turn off the power is step number one. And then you take out the outlet that doesn't work. You match the wires. The black one goes with the black one. The blue one goes with the blue one. And then you stuff it back in the wall and turn the power on and try it again. See if it works. You turn off the water to the sink and replace the fixture. You can do it yourself. You can watch videos. You can get books out of the library. It's really easy to do your own work. And nobody likes your house more than you. Nobody cares about your bottom line more than you. And I am so sick of paying contractors twice.
I will add that. So I agree. I do all my own stuff as well. A lot of states, including the state I live in, I can no longer do electrical on my rental properties at all. Like even if I'm the owner of them, there's so some states have that rule now. I can't touch electrical in a house even if I own it. Now, if it's my own primary residence, I can, but a rental I can't. So anyway, just people make sure you know your laws. But live in flips, yeah, I do almost everything myself. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I don't have any rentals right now. It's been a while since I had a rental, so that's good to know. I should look that up before I start monkeying around with rental property electricity.
Here's another quick tip for you. Well, for everybody out there. So my contractor that I'm working with right now just hired a new employee. And the reason he hired this employee is because the employee just got hit with a $10,000 fine from the L&I, like our Department of Labor and Industries, the ones in charge of having workman's comp insurance on your people. Anyway, because this guy was up on a roof, roofing or whatever for somebody else. Anyway, and he didn't have his own license and bond. Anyway, they came by, asked for his whatever information, didn't have it, and he got hit with a $10,000 fine. So that's my quick tip for everybody is if you're going to do work for anybody at all that's not your own property, make sure 1,000% you do it right and follow the rules because you'll get in big trouble.
Yeah. Hey, Mindy, and I appreciate everything you said, and I do try to make a point anytime that we have somebody of the female persuasion on the podcast to actually emphasize the fact that they are of the female persuasion because, you go on BiggerPockets and we are a male dominant industry. We are a vastly male dominant industry. So, I think it's important to have strong, female role models in the business, and you are one of them.
Mindy Jensen, you're my hero.
You are. But, I think, it's always important to hear from kind of the horse's mouth, so to speak. So, come on, you guys are ridiculous.
It's all right.
Grow up.
You want to call somebody a horse? It's fine. Whatever.
We get a lot of guff in the comments about childish jokes. But, come on, Brandon. Jeez,
from the horse's mouth. All right.
Hey, Mindy. To all the female listeners, what would you tell them if, to those who are like, hey, I'm afraid to do this, or, I don't want to deal with the nonsense from the guys and the contract. What do you say to others who might be listening?
Well, that's a really interesting question. I just read a couple of forum posts. Well, one forum post, this woman said that she doesn't contact contractors by herself. She'll have a male friend come over so that she gets a decent price, because she has found that when she doesn't ask a man to come over to her house, she's given just ridiculous prices. Wow. Because it doesn't seem like people know. And then that same woman sent me an email just I think this morning, saying, I'm so inspired by you, and the men just don't understand, and thank you. And that really made my week. That made my year, that if somebody would say that, because, honestly, I don't really think it's that tough. Right. You just have to jump in. I installed the hardwood floor all by myself. This one right here that I'm looking at, you can't see it, but it's gorgeous. I installed that by myself. Your first line has to be absolutely straight. So you take your time with that line, and then you just go. It's just, you stop when you're done, and, it's easy. You take your time and you do it right. And, like I said, you watch YouTube videos, you read books, and none of this is really all that hard. I said that anybody can change out a plumbing fixture. I actually hate plumbing.
Nice.
I always just slam my hand into the wall or, pinch my finger in some way.
My record is 11 trips to Home Depot in one day for plumbing. I hate plumbing too.
Okay, so yeah, you never get the part.
Never get the right part that I need, and it's.
I was checking out at Home Depot, and the lady's like, "You look familiar." I'm here every day, every single day. Literally, I am here every single day. Of course, I look familiar. I'm here more than you.
Hey, Mindy. So you're doing live-in hit flips. You're doing floors. You're doing all this stuff. Is that all that you guys are doing? Are you guys? You said you're not doing any rentals. Are you doing actual non-live-in flips, or is this really the strategy that you guys are going to be following heretofore?
Heretofore, we are looking for non-live-in flips. We want to do that brrr that Brandon always talks about. Brrr.
By the way, he made that up. He made that word up, and now I'm seeing it all over the place.
I know. People say
love it.
No, for people who don't know what that is, it's the buy.
Yep.
Yeah, the buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. That's what it stands for.
Yes,
Brr.
and that's a really great, term. I want to get some rental properties. Like I said, my current market is just absolutely ridiculously hot in my price range. If I wanted to buy $500,000 houses, then I would not have so much competition. But there's nothing under $200,000 in my local market, and up to about $300,000, everything is all cash offers, foregoing appraisals, foregoing inspections. And I don't want to subject myself to that kind of risk. I don't want to buy a property with no inspection and discover that it needs a whole new foundation, and it's built on top of a snake den.
That's very smart. And what would you tell the people who are in a market like yours? I mean, because it's really easy to get caught up in I can actually get this if I go all cash and forego this stuff. Is that a good idea?
I don't think so. I have, bought and sold like 10 houses. We did 5 live-in flips, and I don't think that it's a good idea for a new investor to go out and buy a property that they don't know what they're walking into. You don't know what you don't know. I just had a post recently, and I'll just say this again for the 3 people who didn't read it. My husband and I were going to buy a condo closer to the city of Chicago, and we went through. It looked beautiful. We had a home inspection, and the guy offhandedly said, "Oh, make sure that this exterior stucco is real stucco and not ephes." What's ephes? Well, it's fake stucco. And when it's used in drier climates like Colorado and Arizona, it's not a big problem. They don't have a lot of moisture. But when it's used in the wetter climate, sometimes the window seals fail and water gets inside between the stucco and the wall, and there's no place for it to go, and mold grows. And there's been homes that have been they've had to tear them down completely. There's no fixing it. The mold has just gone everywhere. And without a home inspection, I would have known that. And that would be pretty scary to lose that much money that early in my career, in my investing career. You don't want to lose the whole pot. And a home inspection is like $500. If you spend $500 and you find nothing, then that's money well spent. And if you spend $500 and find a potentially hazardous condition or a potentially problematic fix that you don't want to handle, that's money well spent.
Yep.
Yeah. For sure. Good advice.
So yeah, no, I wouldn't suggest foregoing inspection. I wouldn't suggest foregoing inspections. And with an appraisal, if you're paying $300,000 for a house that's only worth $250,000, that's just foolish.
There you go.
Good advice. Good advice.
All right. Let's get this thing moved towards the end. Next, we're going to go to the world famous. What's it called, Mindy?
Lightning round. The fire round. The fire round. The fire round.
Famous for.
No,
we have the lightning. We have the fire round first.
You have a fire round.
All right, fire round.
Okay.
All right.
Look how she's all red and embarrassed now. I love that.
Lightning round.
Plus I'm a little sunburned.
All right. The fire round are questions we ask directly from the forum. So we don't actually ask them. BiggerPockets members do. So, Mindy, I know you're in the forums a lot, so you've probably seen these. Maybe you've even jumped into the conversations, which will make this cheating, but that's okay. Number 1, why invest in real estate? After all, there are a lot of things to invest in. Stocks, bonds, precious metals, collectibles. What makes real estate so attractive to you?
Well, real estate is it's never going to end. People always need a place to live. And you can get by without having stocks. You can get by without having bonds and precious metals, but you have to have a roof. Well, I guess you don't have to, but most people want to have a roof over their house, over their head, and their house.
Cool.
Nice.
I like it.
All right, right on. All right, next question. Is flipping still a good business in 2015?
Yes, if you're in the right market. There's a guy in my market who buys houses at full market value and flips them into some of the most amazing houses I've seen and sells them at even more full market value. He'll take a smaller house like I did and top of the line everything. He takes a 2-bed, 1-bath and makes it a 4-bed, 3-bath or a 5-bed house. And he puts in Sub-Zero refrigerators and who's the oven guy? What's the oven company?
Viking, maybe?
Viking ovens.
Yeah.
He puts in the high quality, the really high end finish. I don't have a Viking oven in my house. I've got a Maytag or Whirlpool or something. Because
they're frugal.
I'm frugal. A Viking is a very good product. If somebody gave me one, I'd be happy to have one. But he puts all these high quality finishes in, and it looks awesome. And he sells them for $150,000 more than he bought them for, $200,000 more than he bought them for. So he's making a good living. But that's not my personal goal. Well, I don't want to make a good living. No, that's not my personal flipping style. But and so I'm having a hard time finding a flip in my current market. I'm gonna go north to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and see what I can do up there.
Cool.
Ooh, fancy.
They have far less price, lower priced houses.
That's what I hear. On that topic, the flipping. So like I have a lot, obviously a lot of Facebook friends now from BiggerPockets. I mean, like I don't even know most of the people that friend request me anymore, and I just like accept everybody. So like I have this wall like of just BP people that are talking about their real estate. Like my whole Facebook wall is just like real estate stuff now. It's kind of fun. But the thing I'm noticing over and over and over is people saying 3 days on the market and I have 14 offers, 6 days on the market and I got 7 offers. Like every day I see 2-3 of those posts come up about people bragging about how, I mean, in a good way, about how well. So yeah, to answer that question also, is flipping still good business? I think right now flipping is probably the best business I've ever seen in the past, since I've been involved in real estate. It's beginning to look a lot more like 2005, 6, and 7. So I don't know if that's a warning sign or not, but man, everything is going quick and for lots of offers.
When everybody gets excited, listen, I'm the biggest proponent of real estate as an investment, but when people start getting excited, when you hear people talking about it at McDonald's and all over the place, I mean, when the average guy is talking about how good the real estate market is, I start to get a little nervous. I'm starting to get a little nervous about how hot the market is feeling in a lot of areas. So
I'm nervous with Denver because you guys are insane.
It is nuts here. It is really.
I can't wait for it to pop so I can buy something.
I know.
Yeah, I talked to somebody today and she's like, yeah, I'm working, I'm learning. She's like, I'm just waiting for it to happen. I'm like, she's like, oh yeah. She's like, I'm waiting for the market to completely collapse. I'm going to buy like crazy. I'm like, all right, that's a great strategy. Sit on the sidelines. Yep.
Cool. Warren Buffett says when everybody's buying, you should be selling. When everybody's selling, you should be buying. Or wait, no. When everybody's selling, you should be buying.
You just said that.
He doesn't say anything about selling. Yeah. No, he doesn't say anything about selling, though. He holds it forever.
That's true.
His favorite holding period is forever.
I
love that.
That's what
I love that. You're a big fan, aren't you?
I am a big fan of Warren Buffett. I do like him quite a bit. He's pretty smart.
He is. He would
have to be. All right. What are the common things that you can do to reduce a rehab budget and save money without being shady or doing shoddy work?
Well, yeah. Number 1, you could be shady. Number 2, you could do shoddy work.
Good.
No, you should do it yourself. Why hire a painter to come in and paint your room for $300 when you can do it for $30, which is a gallon of paint? Why hire an electrician? Minus your time. Plus your time. Whatever, you're still making money on the end. If you're, it all adds up. You hire an electrician and it's, a minimum $1,000 that they're going to be there because they have to charge for the time there and charge their hourly rate and, do all of the information or all of the work that they need to do. The plumber we had when we were selling our house, they wanted an air gap added to the dishwasher that we had forgotten to put in. And it cost us $1,000 to do. It was an hour of work, maybe 2 hours of work. And it was like $50 in parts.
Yep.
And that doesn't translate to me $1,000 versus, I don't make $1,000 an hour. Although I'd like to. Bossaroo.
Do you hear that, Josh?
Right.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, me too.
Wait, you don't make
me
$1,000 an hour?
Oh, come on. Come on.
Man.
What a disappointment. Jeez.
This is. I really thought you were just loaded.
I did write a post on the BiggerPockets blog and on entrepreneur.com a while back called How to Make $1,000 an Hour. So I will link to that in the show notes. It's actually really cool.
That would be great.
Yeah, how to make $1,000 an hour.
That would be
I'm gonna
nifty.
need to
Maybe
read-
you could teach it to me.
I could teach it to you. You do make $1,000 an hour, I'm sure. So do you, Mindy, probably. Just you only make it for a couple minutes a day. So the goal is, how do you make it for longer periods of time? That's a little teaser. Go read the post. It's in the show notes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Mindy, last question.
Yes,
I'm a
sir.
first-time investor. Should I purchase a duplex or a fourplex?
Ooh, well, how much money do you have, Mr. First-Time Investor?
Thank
A duplex, a fourplex. I don't think there's a real lot of difference there, except in price. I mean, you're going to have, if you're going to live in one unit and rent out the other unit, the duplex is going to pay all your expenses or most of your expenses. If you have a fourplex, when you live in one unit, you'll probably make money when you rent out the other three. I don't think you'll make a lot of money in the duplex just by house hacking it. Both of them, you can get a first-time FHA loan, which has a low down payment, so you could afford more property in theory. There's a lot of there's a lot of information that goes into that question. That's kind of a big question just for
I think you answered it well.
That was,
12 seconds.
I like it.
It was a good answer for sure. And yeah, it all depends on a lot of things. So
Yeah. But I do think,
Nice.
I think if you could do a duplex, you can do a fourplex. I firmly believe that. So as long as it's within your price range, like trying to learn how to handle 3 other tenants instead of 1 other tenant is not that big of a learning curve. Coming up with 3 leases, picking up 3 rent checks. I mean, it's people can do it. People get overwhelmed with that stuff, but it's really easier than they think. Anyway, moving on. Let's get out of here and end with the world famous.
fire round. You just did the famous four.
No, that was the fire round.
That
Now
was
it's the fire round.
I
All right.
Okay.
Fire round.
Fire
Wait,
round.
famous four.
Dude, come on now.
This is my first podcast,
the-
not yours.
Famous four. All right, these are the questions we ask everybody. So, Mindy, number 1, what is your favorite, besides mine, what is your favorite real estate book?
My favorite real estate
Yes.
would have to be the book on flipping houses by Jay Scott.
That is a great book.
That is
Is a great book. I can't believe there's anybody that knows more about flipping houses than Jay Scott. Maybe Brian Burke, who did that awful cat litter house. Did you ever see those pictures?
Yeah, that was terrible.
It's disgusting. So yeah, they are probably tied, but Brian didn't write a book. Jay Scott did.
There you go.
There you go.
The book
Bigger
on
Pockets,
flipping houses.
BiggerPockets.com/flipping book.
Yeah, conveniently it is printed by BiggerPockets Publishing, but that's not why I like it. I just, I'm a big fan of the site.
Yay. All right.
It's a good book.
I do also agree that is the best flipping book I've ever read.
It is.
It is the best flipping
That's
book.
the best flipping book. Yeah.
Yeah. Our business book, best business book. What is your most preferred or best business book?
Can I guess? Wait, can I guess? I'm
Yes.
gonna go with the debt.
The Warren
snowball-
Buffett
the,
way.
The debt snowball. Isn't that what it's called? No, the something snowball. The
I
snowball
was going to say
something.
the Warren Buffett way.
It's the snowball's about the snowball's about Warren Buffett. That's why I assumed it was that one. Apparently
Yeah.
not.
Oh, what's that book? Oh, God. That's upstairs. I think it's called The Snowball.
I think so.
Is that the book?
Yeah,
Is
there's
that
somebody
your
wrote a book about.
But is that your answer? Did I guess
no,
all right? Oh, dang it.
That's not.
Oh, what's the book?
The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason.
Clayton?
Clason.
Clayson. Yeah.
Clason, whatever. Sorry, George, I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Tomatoes.
I think he's like long gone, or at least.
Yeah, it was published in like the 20s, which makes it an even more amazing book. The basic premise is don't spend more than you make, save a little bit, invest it wisely, and you can do what you want with life.
There you go.
By the way,
There
the
you go.
book was called The Snowball, Warren Buffett and the Business of Life by Alice Schroeder. That's what the one I was guessing you were talking about, but
That
I
is the
was
one that,
way off.
that's number 2. Close second.
Nice.
Excellent.
Okay, good. I'll take it.
Excellent. All right, Mindy, hobbies. What do you do for fun?
Oh my goodness. When it's wintertime, I snowboard. When it's summertime, I'm on my bike or playing with my girls. Well, I'm playing with my girls no matter what time of year it is. But wintertime, it is snowboarding, and summer, it is biking.
Excellent. Where do you snowboard?
My favorite place is Breckenridge,
Oh,
just up the road. Yeah, my backyard.
I was going to say
My
backyard.
is
Yeah.
7
Nice.
square inches. I have the smallest yard of any house I've ever owned in my life in
Nice.
this house.
Well, you
Right
could
on.
like put the snowboard on that and just jump up and down a few times.
I sure could. Obviously, you're a snowboarder.
That's what I do. I jump.
Clearly. Right on.
Okay. My final question of the day. Mindy, what do you believe sets apart successful real estate investors from those who give up, fail, or never get started?
Getting started. You have to do a deal to be a real estate investor. I don't think you can call yourself a real estate investor if you never invest in real estate. There's a lot of people who read about it and then they're scared. They don't have enough money. If you don't have enough money, read the book on buying and selling houses with no and low money down. What's the name of that book?
It was close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah, by this little-known author, Brandon Turner.
You forgot good looking and
Good-looking,
talented.
amazing, 7'9" Brandon
Yes,
Turner.
thank you.
Um,
Josh is
Why
shaking
are you
his head.
shaking your head, Josh? Why are you shaking your head?
Because he's incorrigible.
Well, thank you for bringing up my book because, I didn't do it. Actually, I did it like 3 times already, but, I'll take it. I'll take any plug.
BiggerPockets.com/no money.
There you go.
Yes,
where
you
would
need-
get that book.
You need to jump in and do a deal. And, that doesn't mean jump in blindly. You have to do your research or you are going to lose giant wads of cash.
Yes.
We've all lost giant wads of cash, and you just call that education. And I don't think you can write it off on your taxes, but you, unfortunately, I'd have a big tax write-off.
You could try. They do have a spot for education for deductions.
Yeah. Let me know how that goes, Mindy.
Yeah, so when I'm audited, I'm going to refer them back to here.
Yeah.
Brandon, my CPA,
Brandon on the
gave me
Bigger
legal
Pocket.
advice.
No, don't do that, please. All right, Mindy, show 129 on the Bigger Pockets podcast. You can check out the show notes at biggerpockets.com/show 129, and you can leave Mindy feedback, ask her questions, or just interact with her on Bigger Pockets. Outside of all that, Mindy, where can people find out more about you?
Pretty much that's it, biggerpockets.com.
Right on.
I was a stay-at-home mom for 8 years, so I have a pretty thin resume as of late.
Nah, you got a great
But
resume.
I'm in the forums. I'm in the forums a lot. I'm on the blog. Current podcast, the Ask BP
Yes.
podcasts. You can find me on almost every facet of Bigger Pockets.
Perfect. Well, Mindy, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we will get you right back to work as soon as we hang up with this call. So
Get back to work, Mindy.
Thank
been
you
fun.
very much. This was a lot of fun.
All right.
When do
we'll
I get
talk
back?
to you later.
When do I come back for number 2 and number 3?
Oh, don't start being like Ben now.
Hi, Ben.
Nice. All right, Mindy,
All
take
right,
care.
Mindy, take care.
Okay, bye. Have a good day.
All right, guys, that was Mindy Jensen. Big thanks again to her for coming on the show. Obviously, if she didn't come on the show, I could force her to, but I wasn't going to. I couldn't force her to. She would take me on.
Yeah, she would.
She would. No, it was great.
Is she taller than you, by the way?
She might be. That's not hard to do.
We should back-to-back you guys sometime, and we'll see.
Oh,
who's
yeah?
taller.
Why? Is there anything? I mean, do you get anything out of
If
that
you
other
got-
than the joy of making me look even shorter?
I want to know if you guys fought in a ring, who would win? If you guys wrestled,
What is your obsession with people fighting in a ring?
I don't know, but next Bigger Pockets conference we are
What
fighting
is
in a
wrong
ring.
with you?
We are fighting in a ring.
You have problems.
I-
You have
I-
ser- I think
wrestling
you and
in a
I might be putting
We
in those
should-
sumo suits. and
Yep.
We should get into
We
a
should
fight.
do that. We'll do that. Sumo
That would
suits.
be a lot of fun. All
I
right.
like it.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Big thanks again to Mindy for coming on. And if you are not already engaged on Bigger Pockets like Mindy is, jump on today, get involved. I was talking about the New York meetup. The cool thing about the meetup, we had 200 people. Like I said, Brandon only brought about 130. But beyond that being cool, because it was the fact that the people there, A, they were amazing, but B, they had talked about how engaging on BiggerPockets was so valuable to them. And those people who hadn't were hearing that from their peers and were really kind of getting that and understanding it and feeling it and jumping in. And a lot of people said to me, they're like, hey, Josh, I don't know anything. I'm new. What do I do? And we said, just start out welcoming new people. Welcome other people who've joined the site and just talk to them. You'll at least start to network and build connections. This is a business that requires connections. You can be successful without them, but the more connections you have, the better more likely you are to find success, because these peers of yours are, they can be your partners, they can provide leads to you, you name it. So get out there, make things happen, jump on BiggerPockets. We are the place for investors to connect. So get on there and make it happen.
Do it.
With that, let's get out of here. I am Josh Dorkin, signing off.
You're listening to BiggerPockets Radio, simplifying real estate for investors large and small. If you're here looking to learn about real estate investing without all the hype, you're in the right place. Be sure to join the millions of others who have benefited from BiggerPockets.com, your home for real estate investing online.